Welcome to the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast. This is the space where we breathe deeply, live more intentionally, and find meaning in the messy middle of life. I'm your host, Kendra Chapman, mom of triplets, busy professional, caffeine lover, and a big believer in slowing down so we can show up fully. If you're a busy human navigating life, career, family, or all of the above, you are in good company. We don't chase perfection around here. We build rhythms that support peace, clarity, and yoga, which is that comfy, cozy feeling. It's from that Danish mindset. So today we're shifting our focus to a topic at the very heart of my background, education. We're going to explore the concept of hope and talk to a seasoned educator, Dr. Donita Grissom. She's a global consultant, speaker, author, professor, and she's a highly passionate educator. She is spending her time these days advocating for meaningful change in the educational landscape around hope. She has a PhD in TESOL, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages, and she has dedicated her career to teaching training and cultural proficiency. And so she is a certified life coach, a hope specialist, and a researcher who is using her experience and her personal story to uplift others. So I hope that you enjoy this conversation and that you have a couple of takeaways today in this message. And for more information, you can check it out in the show notes. Well, Dr. Grissom, I want to first make sure that I say thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. And this is the season for schools getting back into the swing of things. So teachers are already back in their rooms. They're probably going through some PD. And so I think this is a very timely conversation. So Dr. Grissom, as a global consultant, speaker, author, you inspire educators across the world. And you've co-authored a book, High Five to Thrive, 5 Proven Strategies to Unleash Your Passion for Teaching. And so I've asked you to come and sit down with me and talk about lots of things, but primarily bringing back that hope for our profession, our craft that we know as teaching, and making sure that children are getting what they need so they can thrive and not just survive.
Exactly.
But we also want to talk about teachers. We want to make sure that we spend some time focusing in on making sure that teachers are getting what they need as well. And I want to make sure that we shout out to all the administrators out there right now too, because it's a stressful time for everybody coming back in to school as we know it. So, but before I jump in, I want to say, how are you doing? And if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what's going on in your world.
Okay, well, thank you. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. I lived in Tennessee. I grew up 100 miles from Memphis. I'm from Kennett, Missouri, which is Sheryl Crow's hometown. She actually was in my brother's class, and they went to homecoming together. We're friends, still friends. So that's where I was born and raised. I moved to Florida in 1987. So now I've lived here longer than I've lived in Missouri and Tennessee. So anyway, I'm very familiar with the Nashville area. I was there a couple of weeks ago for a conference. So my world right now, I am a senior lecturer at the University of Central Florida in the field of TESOL. So I train teachers. I'm the ESOL coordinator there. But I'm also the CEO of Best Questers. And Best Questers is an educational professional consulting business that we train teachers. My partners are Dr. Vicki Kelchner. She's in counseling education. Debbie Simoes. She is an absolute incredible speaker. She is a professional consultant for years. She is a prior administrator and kindergarten teacher. And then Amy Aglio, she is our behind the scenes incredible graphics. She made this sign behind us, and she does so many things for us. We couldn't live without her. So together, we are a new company, even though we're seasoned, in what we do, educators. So that's what we're doing now. And as you mentioned, we just released our new book, High Five to Thrive. And so our world is busy with this new part of our life of getting the message out there, the critical message out there. So we're attending conferences, we're doing workshops, we're speaking, doing social media, podcast. And so those are all the things. So a lot of multitasking going on right now in our lives.
So I'm going to ask you just to kind of share for a second. You are a busy professional. You are out there. You know what's going on with your audience as far as educators, and you want to be a helpful resource. How are you applying the go slow to go fast mindset in your day-to-day?
So I love that question because just because we wrote this book with 5 proven practices to help our teachers restore their joy, to help them overcome their occupational fatigue and stress, and not just teachers. We start with superintendents. It's all on their back. The monkey's on their back. And principals. Everything comes back to their table. Teachers, paraprofessionals, counselors. Last week in Nashville, this is what I heard. Counselors, all educators right now, and staff members are feeling the stress and fatigue. So let me just say that we wrote that book for them so they can have the energy they need to get through the day and do the things that the students need. But they have to take care of themselves first. We can't give away something we don't have. So going back to your question, how am I applying it? I call Debbie. Debbie, I need to go reread my chapter about flipping the script because I'm having these thoughts and I need to get my proven practice back in order. We know these things, we practice these things, but we have to remind each other. So for me, I have to literally take all the things. I have to organize. My thinking is my superpower. I'm creative and I'm full of ideas. But if without Amy, I can't stay organized. So I have to be organized, and that keeps me calm. So I take my big goals for the day. I divide them into, and this is part of our strategy in our book, I divide them into what we call small biggies, meaning it's going to have a big impact, but the small steps to get to the big goals. And that's how we try to operate. I'm not perfect at it, but when I go to workshops, I always say, if we do nothing, we get nothing. If we do something, we get something. And so it's working. It's working. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of my conversations with people these days, it's not about perfection. It's about purposeful, intention. So give yourself some grace, right?
Yes.
All the educators out there listening. So it's not about that, being perfect all the time. It's about trying again.
And Kendra, some of the things that we suggest, not all, but some of them are very simple. So let me just tell you, like for yesterday, I had a very busy morning, one meeting after another, just lots of things happening. And by 12:30, I was worn out. I was drained. And I have my to-do list was longer than the screen on my telephone, on my calendar.
Right. So yes.
You think first, oh my gosh, I can't afford to take a minute for myself. But because I've been studied and researching these, wellness principles, it was like, you know what? I'm turning off my phone. I'm going to eat some lunch and I'm going to take a 20-minute power nap. I turned my fan on and I covered up and I cuddled with my little doggies. And I took actually about a 45-minute power nap. Then I got up and I was totally refreshed. I didn't have that rundown feeling, and I powered through every single thing on my list. So that's just a simple thing. And one other thing I do sometimes, I'll throw this in there. I'm a ballroom dancer. I love to dance. And sometimes when I need a kick of energy, I turn on my TV and put on some fast, fun music, and I just dance around my house for a little bit. And it makes me so happy. It lets off those happy juices of endorphins and dopamine, gets me going. And it's just like, I feel like a totally different person. There's simple things. Our mind tells us, oh, you don't have time for that.
Yeah.
You have too much to do. You can't take that time. Well, we can't. Here's another thing we can't afford not to do.
Right. And we're educators. We understand teachers can't take a nap during the school day. We get it. But you could, after you get home, before you do whatever you need to do before you go to bed, take a break, take a siesta, whatever it needs to look like. It's okay. Put a timer on your phone and, take a 30-minute nap. And you know what? If you end up going to sleep and you don't wake up until the next morning,
that's your body saying you needed that. But it's interesting because you said you may not be able to take a nap at work. True. However, in our book, in chapter 4, Dr. Felchner writes about developing a cool, calm kit. And she has all of the things and what they can do. So it's mobile, all the things. And so you'll have to get your coffee to see what to do. So it's things you can do during the day when where they're having that dream not so true day, as we call it. Items that would be personal to them, little things that they can do, and it will be the effect of that reboot, of taking a nap perhaps, or getting your mind focused on something that's happy instead of the stress that you're feeling right in the moment. So you can deal with whatever it is with that student that you need to deal with, but do it in a restful, peaceful state. So you had full focus and all this, everything will come to you. Because if you try to do an anger or anxiety or stress, you're going to just react. Yeah. But we need to be proactive. So
yeah, and I mean, you guys are practitioners. You've been on the front lines, and you're still in the work, and you're working with educators now. So you're getting that feedback. You're figuring out, ways to win, ways to get teachers to think differently, and principals and superintendents and all the leaders out there that are, gearing up for the next school year. And it's not something that, you should do just at the beginning of the year, of course, either. You want to take a little bit of time and build in a routine so you can do that throughout the year, like you said, being proactive. It sounds like there's a lot of ways to thrive and strategies to make sure that you keep coming back to teaching, because we know teachers and educators are considering shifting away from education.
Oh, it has happened and it's happening. There is a teacher shortage. People are leaving day by day. Some of the teachers have left because of the lack of funding. And of course, that's a really hot topic right now. It's went and then it came and we don't know if it's going to go again. And it's causing tremendous stress in the whole education world. The leaders are feeling it, and what do we do? And so now we have the funding. So now where do we apply it and how we operate through the day so we can still show up for our students and get their success. Teachers are asked to take care of the children and meet all of their needs. But the thing is, if they walk into their classroom with stress and tension, it fills the room with stress and tension, and the children can feel it. So when the children feel stressed and they feel all the anxiety from the teacher in the room, not because she doesn't do it on purpose, but they feel it, then it makes the children stressed out and tense. And what happened is this area called the amygdala, it's in the back of their brains, it shuts off and nothing's going in, baby. So you're not going to get what you want to get, what educators, what leaders, what everyone wants from our students. So what I hear often from leaders is that, well, we can't afford the time or we can't afford the money to give our teachers this wellness, self-care type of professional development. We need strategies in the classroom and, all these assessment strategies and all of these things. Well, those are important, but I say we can't afford not to.
Right.
Because our teachers are human, our students are human, our leaders are human. We're dealing with human beings. So if you want that end goal of student success and achievement and teachers to be the best that they can be in the world that we're in now with all this stress and tension and anxiety, well, I say we can't afford not to attend to the teachers and what they need for themselves as humans so they can show up in those classrooms, have those safe environments where the learning is going to thrive because the students are having fun. They don't feel stress or tension. And that's what we at Best Questers, with our book, High Five to Thrive, our workshops, that's what it's about. That's what we're about.
Right.
We need to give this to our teachers and our educators, principals. You need it. Principals, superintendents, everyone in the school community, parents. We work with parents as well because they need it.
Yes. Yes.
And let me just say this next thing I'll say. All of these things we suggest, it's not an overnight quick fix. I always tell people, if you have a motivational speaker and they come to you and say, you do this, one or two things, and everything in your life is going to be okay, run from them, because that's not true. We make it very clear in our book that the suggestions that we make are always a choice. But as I said earlier, if you do nothing, you get nothing. If you try something, you will get something. You will get results. And it takes time to develop habits. We talk a lot about developing habits, and we give strategies on how to do that. We even suggest don't try to do all this at the same time. We've been in those classrooms. We've had those days. We've had those situations. And we know you don't have time in your day to do everything because that's what's making you stress out.
Right.
We're there to help you. And one big notion that we have is follow up. So when we do things with teachers, we love to incorporate follow up as well. Get that community, because one of our other chapters is about connections and developing strong connections. And we give a lot of ways to do that, all the science behind it. And we try to do that as well.
Right. And, the rhythm of a regular school year is typically professional development in the beginning of the year. It's a lot of PD, and then there's lots of different, styles and skill sets. You've got a very diverse audience. And so for those of you out there that are creating or planning PD, depending on where you are in the United States, you're either a month out or a week out from the beginning of the year. So this could be very timely, or it could be something maybe not now, but maybe think about a fall break or the next PD session that you have scheduled for later in the school year. So there are ways to be thinking about, what type of PD you want to offer, or what kind of PD your community needs, division, school, district, whatever it looks like for you. And that landscape could be, we know it can be diverse, and it could be, different in every building.
And we do plan our work with schools, districts, according to their needs. There's a lot of configurations. So, for example, I really love the coaching model. Where you go into a school, you deliver some of the PD or all of it, and then you visit meetings. And so you help them develop their own plan together as a team in a community, which is so powerful, because we say we're better together, and it's the truth. There's such research about working together. And a lot of times in schools, I know for me, I was in isolation a lot because I was the only ESOL person on the campus and had a lot of other duties that, besides teaching, testing and the paperwork and the state requirements and the whole bit. And that doesn't work. We work better together, divide and conquer, and even just those social interactions that will help us. Those are things during the day that help us to have those small biggies. So the coaching model is one way. Another way is just to have the big keynote. We also do a lot of virtual follow-up. So if I can't be there in person, it doesn't matter. Hawaii. We went to Hawaii, and we did some PD there, but we do virtual follow-ups. So there's a lot of different ways that we can do this. But we need to do this. We have a workshop we're doing now called Stay and Thrive. And so it's very interactive. It's very fun. It's 70s based. We say everybody come in your favorite 70s outfit. And we have 3 different learning groups, and then we take turns. And so we have our own little song. And anyway, we make it fun because they need to have fun, but we're giving them all the tools that they need. So that's one thing for a big group or whatever size group, we can do that. So there's a lot of different ways. Just be creative about it.
Yeah. So anybody out there who is looking to set up some PD for your district or your school, you can definitely get in touch with Dr. Grissom. And it sounds like you're very flexible, and you like to personalize the type of professional development that you provide. So that's great. You give us options Because I know, you can't always bring in a keynote, but you might be able to provide some, extra check-ins virtually, and that might be more within your budget.
And we want to help. So we definitely want to hear from you, and we want to sit down and let's talk about your needs and how we can help make those happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dr. Grissom, besides the book that you've recently published with your co-authors and all of the speaking engagements and professional development that you're involved in, what else is going on? Do you guys have any other plans for future support?
Yes, we do. So Dr. Kelcher and I started a children's book about hope, and it goes along of how to incorporate a lot of the strategies that students need in the classroom, their holistic needs, we'll call it, to help them with keeping themselves in the state of mind and the present so they can learn. And so, but we wrote the book for teachers first because the teacher has to deliver these things. And then we're working on a book of how to do some of these strategies when we teach about social emotional learning in the classroom. We're going to be developing a guide that helps teachers to know how to do this without adding something extra to the day, weaving it and infusing it into their daily routine at school. So yes, it was some professional development, but past that, you weave it in. And so we're working on that, and because we're finding that's a great need. Teachers are aware that students need this kind of help, but teachers don't know how, and so they see it as something extra instead of something that we can infuse. So we want to help them to do that.
Right.
Working
And
on
I could see school counselors sitting up a little bit and listening as well to
yes,
some of these options.
and then obviously in the future, as if we don't have enough to do, we want to take our High Five to Thrive notions to the workplace, to parents, to teenagers. We're going to create books that go to different audiences. But we started with teachers because we're teachers and we relate incredibly. When we go to the workplace, I ran legal offices for over 20 years and I did legal work before I was an educator. So I connect there, and all of us have worked in workplaces, corporate world.
And that's what the world needs right now. We need more support for teachers and educators, leaders.
Every one of us in the whole wide world, we're doing what we're doing today because we had teachers. So I feel like teachers are the foundation of our societies.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so we need to give them what they need the most.
Yeah.
We call it the gift that keeps on giving, like Hallmark.
Right. Well, and that's, a little cup of hope, a little, infusion of hope is something that we all need. So if we're having a bad day, no matter what profession you are in, but if you are not a teacher, I hope that you're thinking about teachers as they transition back into their workplace shortly. It's interesting to think like we live in our little corner of the world, but I'm sure there are lots of educators out there across the world that could use this message as well.
Well, you mentioned hope, and I just would like to say that two of my chapters that I heavily wrote with the help of my partners, but that is about hope and hope theory and how to apply that in our lives. And so people don't always know what hope is. They think it's like a wish. There's nothing wrong with wishing for something, but that's not actual hope. Hope is a part of the positive psychology uh, field. And I've studied hope theory for years as my dissertation topic. And I had a terrible life event that sort of steered me in that direction. And that could be for another day of how this all happened because it's a long story. But through my personal earthquake, I say hope found me. And I began studying everything I could on hope theory. And so that's the foundation of a lot of the strategies we use because hope can be learned. It's something all humans have the capacity to do. And when we are operating from high hope levels, which we can measure hope as a matter of fact, they are happier individuals. They set more goals. They realize more goals. children with high hope levels, they will on average have a whole grade letter higher in their grades than children with low hope. They have less discipline problems. They're just happier people all around. So, and there's many, many more benefits, but I just want to put that in there. There's a lot of what you will learn from us and from our book is how to apply these hope strategies in their lives and see those benefits.
Yeah, and not to throw you off, but I'm wanting to unpack that a little bit. Your dissertation, did you see any correlation between hope and resilience? Did you get into any of that?
So I did my dissertation with illiterate Haitian people. And it was fascinating because what I learned from that is, first of all, their problems and goals are not the same as people in Western society. Their goals every day is, oh, I need fresh water and I need food. There's a lot of single mothers that want their children to go to school, but they don't have the money. So they're out there selling vegetables, clothes, shoes, whatever they can do. Their goals are different than ours.
Right.
And their hope levels were just a little bit below mid-level. So in our thinking, we might think, oh, they probably have low hope. Not true, because they learned how to, like I said, to work with their goals, with the strategies. Basically, they learn from their elders. So that is embedded in their culture. So their goals are very prevalent because of their culture. Then their strategies are built in their culture. So therefore they feel like, well, I have the strategies. My grandfather taught me how to plant a garden, right? My mother taught me how to sell. And so they don't know anything different. They're not sad because they're not going to college, because that's not a part of their culture typically. So I was very fascinated by that. So when we talk about hope, we have to look at it through the lens of your culture. So in the United States, yes, going to college is very important in our society. And our society has shifted from a more familial society to one that's more individualistic. And so things change. It doesn't mean it's bad or good or indifferent. I'm not putting a quantifier on it. It's just the way that it is. So we have to work with our goals with the strategies that we have in our culture. So that was one of my huge takeaways. So as far as resilience is concerned, I was there a year after the earthquake that just destroyed so much and so many lives and so many families. And they did rely on each other for a lot of their resilience. They didn't know they were practicing hope. Now, when I worked with them, obviously I was able to help them connect with more of these strategies, right?
Right.
And so and one of the other ways that I was able to help, and I saw there firsthand when I was there, the NGOs that came to help rebuild, when they ran out of money, they didn't get more money. Well, they left half-built buildings. And so when I was walking through the streets and I saw this, but I saw men and women just sitting on the side of the road, my first thought was, well, why are they sitting here when this building needs to be finished? Because I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't know what was happening. And so what I learned was that saying about, if you don't teach a person how to fish, then they're not going to have enough fish to eat, and they didn't ever teach them how to build a building. So when people started then going in, we began to share this. People began to go in and start teaching some of the skills. They wanted to learn. Right. So they're sitting on the side of the road was like they were hopeless because they didn't know what to do. They didn't have the strategies or the skills to do what needed to be done.
Right.
However, when you go in and you say, hey, we can help you with strategies to get these goals accomplished. Oh, you mean something can change? This can change? This goal can be met? Immediately that hope starts rising. They may not understand it yet, but then when they start to learn how to, build steps, build this, do this, that, whatever it is that they need to do for their goal, their problem, then their hope levels just rise so much.
Yeah.
So that's how I saw it in that particular culture.
Yeah. Yeah. I think definitely results driven strategies are going to keep somebody coming back and trying again, trying something new.
So our hope theory strategies can be for anyone, anywhere. I rely and work on Dr. C.R. Snyder's theory of hope. It's the most researched theory and proven theory. And so that's my foundation. It changed my life. When I started learning and reading, I started applying these strategies in my own life. And so now Dr. Snyder's no longer with us. Dr. Shane Lopez, then he was Dr. Snyder's graduate teaching assistant. And so he wrote his book, Making Hope Happen, during the time that I was doing my research. And so I contacted him and he helped me so much and he agreed to be on my dissertation committee. And so he changed my life so much. And then he passed away early. So now to me, I get emotional about this. I feel like it's like, well, he's handed me one of his batons. It's my mission. I have to do this for people. And so this is why I work so hard, because I feel like because of my personal earthquake, because of the way hope found me, and in a nutshell, I lost my husband. He was helping to teach people in Haiti how to do things. He was a contractor and he lost his life doing that over there. So that was like I said, I won't go into all the details, but that's how this started with me. So it's very personal to me.
Yeah. I mean, you're continuing the message of hope.
Yes.
And taking it into the next chapter of your life. And that is amazing. That's a wonderful message.
Giving seeds of hope wherever I go. I get the opportunity to work with, I've done this before about a year ago, but I just got a project. I'm going to be working with teachers in Russia virtually with the State Department. And I'm so excited about that because they have their own heartaches and problems and issues and goals for their education. And so I'm going to get to help them again.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And their students, so I'm excited about that too.
Yes. Well, this has been such a gift. I know your time is precious. Before we close, is there anything else you want to make sure that you share with the listeners out there?
Well, I want to make sure that maybe you'll have it in your podcast notes, but that they get a copy of High Five to Thrive. It's available on Amazon. Okay. It's available in ebook or this, paperback book on Barnes & Noble or Ingram Sparks. Yep. And for more information, you can contact us at info@bestquesters.net, or you can email me personally, Dr. D. Grissom with the M @gmail.com. And you can call me. I answer my phone, 407-417-2765. And we will be happy to help you just discuss professional development needs, coaching, whatever you need.
So much. And I'll make sure I put all that in the show notes. Yeah. So if you're driving out there, listeners, please don't worry. We'll get that information to you. Just check back in the show notes. Yes, ma'am.
Kendra, I just want to say I love your spirit. I love your demeanor. I love what you're doing in your podcast. I've been listening. You're bringing so much to people.
Thank you.
They need what you're giving them. So thank you. And thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I think the world needs your energy, and I hope I can continue to put out positive, hopeful energy as well, because I think we all need it, whether you're an educator or not. I'm hoping that you're going to take something away from this conversation and add it into your practice today. So thank you so much. Thank you again, Dr. Grissom, for being here.
Yes.
That's it for today's episode of the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast. What an inspiring and empowering conversation I had with Dr. Grissom. I hope that you also felt the same as you are joining us today. And I just want to thank Dr. Grissom for reminding us that hope is a choice, and it is also a powerful tool for leadership and personal resilience. So I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing from our conversation today that you're going to try this week to help rekindle your sense of purpose? Whether you're an educator, parent, busy professional, someone who's just retired, and now you're going to have a different phase of your life. What are you going to do moving forward to make sure you continue to have purpose in your small and big moments? So let's keep the conversation going. Consider emailing me or visiting my website or DMing me on Instagram. All that information's in the show notes. You can check out my Instagram. It's at Coaching with Kendra Chapman. And tag us, tag Dr. Grissom and I in your refresh journey. I'd love to know how it's going for you. And let's walk this season together, whatever it is, whatever season you're in. Let's be confident and purposeful and give ourselves a little extra grace as well. And if you've loved this episode, I hope that you'll consider sharing it with a friend or two, or everybody you know who needs a little moment of hope and clarity. And as always, remember, the light in me honors the light in you. And as you head into the rest of your week, let your light shine through. And remember, go slow to go fast. Thanks for listening.